Let's get started. I'll call this meeting to order at 6:03. Madam Clerk, with attendance, please.
Councilmember Pasqua will be arriving late. Councilmember Capaldi is absent this evening. Councilmember Hool,
But I am here.
Councilmember Ionati,
Here.
Vice President Brown.
Here.
President Verducci.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. In the event of an emergency, please go out the way you came in, and if that is blocked, please go out these side doors to the exit marked in back. All right, first item up on the agenda tonight, we have meeting minutes from prior meetings. We have one set of open session meeting minutes, and it looks like we've got two of the executive session minute. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve January 27th, 2026 open session minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, edits, updates for the clerk? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we have two sets of the executive session minutes. I think we can do them in a block or not.
I'll make a motion to take January 13th, 2026 and February 10th, 2026 as a block.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I'll make a
Opposed?
motion to approve.
Nay. Ayes have it. Thank you. Go.
I'll make a motion to approve January 13th, 2026 and February 10th, 2026 executive session minutes.
We have a motion. Second, Vice President Brown. Any discussion on those? Any changes? Thank you very much. Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Moving right along, item number 2, public comment on docketed items. This is for docketed items only. If you have anything, please come forward. Good evening.
Good evening. Brittany Boyer, 318 Town Farm Road. I have a couple things I want to speak about tonight. First, I want to speak regarding the EDC ordinance. The ordinance states that members would be appointed by the town manager and serve at the manager's pleasure. This is inconsistent with how other volunteer boards and commissions operate. Typically, members are appointed by the town council, ensuring a transparent and balanced process. If there is a desire to change how appointments are handled, maybe we should get the Charter Review Commission going first and make those changes properly and move forward in a way that's consistent across all boards and commissions. Second, the requirement for specific professional backgrounds raises another issue for me. While expertise can be valuable, placing restrictions on who can serve isn't practical for right now. I understand it's important to have people on boards who have specific backgrounds, but we already struggle to recruit volunteers for our council, boards, and commissions. Adding barriers will only make that more difficult. It's worth noting that many other boards, such as planning, zoning, building, and even the RDA, do not require specific professional backgrounds for membership. Imposing these requirements on the EDC alone creates an unnecessary and inconsistent standard. If we want to do it here, we need to make those changes first in the charter and then across all appointments. If we want a strong and functional EDC, we should be focused on encouraging participation. The ordinance should be revised to align with existing appointment processes and to remain inclusive of all residents willing to contribute. So the second point that I had for tonight has to do with tax breaks and fee waivers, and I'm concerned that these have become the norm. Developers come in and almost immediately ask for tax breaks and fee waivers when their build is finished, as if it's just part of the process. It shouldn't be. These requests are often made with no real justification, and we continue entertaining them like it's standard practice. Let's be clear. We don't need builders. They need us. There is no shortage of developers willing to buy and build here, and it's probably because we're so lenient. We're constantly talking about new builds coming in, so why are we negotiating against ourselves and giving away revenue that directly impacts our town? It's a slap in the face to residents. We talk about the inevitable of our taxes going up at one meeting, and at the next we waive fees and cut taxes for a developer. When they're done with their project, they're gone and they may never think about Coventry again, but the residents are here for the long haul. We say we hear people loud and clear who are concerned about overdevelopment, and then we turn around and waive the very fees that are supposed to offset the impact of that growth. Most meetings are spent trying to figure out how we're going to find money for basic needs, and just last week we were questioning how to fund necessary expenses, yet here we are, potentially waiving over $100,000 or more. That's not small change. That could fund a new truck that we're always in need of. that could make a dent in the HVAC upgrades that we need to do at the senior center. That could cover a large area of weed abatement and many bodies of water. And that amount of money could cover the unexpected electrical work needed at the annex. It could also support so many other critical projects. We need to stop treating these waivers as routine. Every dollar we give up is a dollar our residents have to make up one way or another. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in chambers, please come on up.
God punishes me sometimes. Good evening. Good to see you guys. I hope I'm speaking on the right time. I want to talk to you about the ordinance that's been put in specifically for Lake Tioga that Parks and Rec has, I think, worked really hard to do. And it's well done.
So this
And-
is a good question because I'm not sure exactly. And I want to say it to Mrs. Boyer as well. Tonight we have the first reading of these. So what is the objective of tonight is it's an introduction. So nothing's set in stone. We won't be passing, voting on it. So now it actually is a good time
Perfect.
to get this stuff out. Okay, thank you for the clarification.
So I read through it. It really works well. It's going to require police support for sure. Tioga has been tragically run over the last few years. It was better last year. So what Scott did has helped. And by adjusting the hours, I think we're going to have a much better situation. So I first of all, I want to support and let you know that I'm in full agreement as the president of the Lake Tioga Association. So it's always good to hear good news, right? And then I look ahead, I just want to also remind you all about the boating ordinances that are in. If you're below the age of 16, you cannot ride a personal watercraft. Now that holds true for all lakes. I am sure Johnson's Pond is going to have a very interesting trying to hold that together because I've been around that lake and I've seen the amount of personal watercrafts. So, and Tioga has a problem also, and they drive right up on the beach, and Scott's put good wording in here. So it should be better. But they also need to have them licensed in the town. If they're not licensed, they're not allowed to be used on the lake, on, I guess, any water body.
And enforcement wise, is that local and state that could? Yeah.
Wow, is that a great question?
That's what I'm here for, Jerry.
I don't know. I would have thought it would be a local police enforcement, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. It definitely is a great question.
I know we saw a little bit of that last year.
Oh, yeah.
And we had both show up. So
Oh, yeah.
interesting. Okay.
So, and that's really all I get to say to you guys. I appreciate your time. And if you have any questions for me, could I ask a question about the weed abatement? I'm sitting on the Conservation Commission on the
I don't
16th.
know about this because it's undocketed. If you want to save to undocketed,
Well, I wonder what time that would be.
little tonight.
I love you guys. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else in chambers? All right. Anybody on Zoom? I think I see a hand. Please come off mute and name and address for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Do I have to sign in something for? No.
Sorry, back to you, Mr. Nunes. If you're on mute, come off. All right. If not,
Hello.
we can hear
Hello.
you. Hello. We can hear you.
Okay. The resolution 2026-15 that the Tioga Lake Gatehouse. I see that there's wordage in there, SC-4.1. It says payment contingency -ARPA funding deadline 12/31/26. So that's locking them into completing it and get paid by December 31. That's my assumption on that. But if I go to page 30 of 83, 1.1.7.4, it says substantial completion date 12/31/2026 to be adjusted based on final start date. So that's kind of like two kind of conflicting sentences. I don't know the legalities to that. Okay, JP, this is undocumented, so you're gonna have to answer.
No, this was docketed. I just want to write it down, make sure I understand.
No, I
'cause
get it.
and I appreciate you being so mindful of our rules. So thank you, Mr. Gaines. I think we'll let the town manager answer this one.
So the plan
Okay.
is to have the Army Corps permit to the construction company sometime between June and August. And with that said, they are guaranteeing completion by 12/31. If it's not complete by 12/31, then their contract ends and we will go elsewhere to finish the project. However, we are very, very confident it will get done. It's about a 3-month project. We need 750,000 of that $1 million project to be done by 12/31, which we are confident it will be.
So that's interesting because, substantial completion, you can take as a, almost a constructability timeline of, a project being, let's say 85% complete. So as long as we hit that substantial completion portion, we'll have expended enough of the money to hit our target on the APRA funds. So I get your question. It's a good observation. It's almost two different timelines, one for complete and one for substantially complete, which is a technical kind of construction term they use. So we'll keep an eye on that and be mindful of that. But that still stands. We'll be paying a lot of close attention to that. Any drag on that, we'll need to shift those funds, and we've got places to go. But thank you for the observation.
Well, if this project is going to be like paid by in phases, can we use all the grant money right from the beginning? And then I know the town has to kick in I think it's like 250,000 or something like that. Can we use the grant money right from the get-go?
Yep, that's the
then-
plan. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So I think that will work out then. Okay. Now let's go to the Synergy Capital, the 484 Fairview Avenue. They're asking for that. Okay, let me start off with. Okay, there's 18 units, 15 1-bed, 3 2-beds. Now, this was a redevelopment process. It wasn't like a new major development. So the sewers and all were already there. They didn't had to bond for it or an impact fee, I would think, for that. But the town ordinance 106-6 says a fee of $6,878 per unit. But I think the way the calculations were made, they were using a $5,854 times the 18 units to get that 108,000. So if this was say before the impact fees were increased, I would think they would be locked into that 584.54 because that's how they were pretty much approved and contracted going forward with this project. But then if I look deeper into it, they're allowing 5 units to be affordable. And then if you look at 106-6 E2, it says fees may be reviewed and amended by the town council, Rhode Island General Law 45-51-1. If the 5 affordable units comply with the requirements, they would be exempt on the impact fee. So the minimum, I would think, if you took that 5,854 times the 13 units that are non-affordable, that are market rate, that comes to $76,102. But now if they're not locked into that older impact fee number, and we go to the 6,878, and we allow the exemption for the 5 affordables, so we times that times 13, and that would come to $89,414. So it's up to the board's, the town council's discretion on, I don't know if you have to like see if which number is actually you're going to use for it, and if you're going to allow the affordables not to be. But the way I look at it is, yeah, they'd like to just wipe this whole $108,000 away, which if I was a developer, I'd love to be able to do that too. But the absolute minimum that they owe is $76,102. That's my opinion, but that's up to the council to decide.
Understood. There's actually a lot of little idiosyncrasies to this, as far as, as we heard earlier, even what the fees themselves can be used for, how they're calculated, what's exempted. So we'll be getting into it, but understood. This is brought to us in public. We're going to deal with it in public, just so everybody knows this isn't anything we're kind of doing outside of the public's view. So just like you said, of course they want to get it waived, and it'll be our turn to kind of get the numbers and see if they make sense for us. But we'll be getting to that, and appreciate those observations. Understand what you were doing there with the math. So thank you for all of your attention this week. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, guys.
All right. Let's see. We'll come back to the room here. I saw a gentleman who came up. I missed you the first time around. If you want to come up. Yeah, I'll go back. And just make sure that button is green, and name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Lynn Holston. I reside at 219 Pine Haven Road, Coventry, Rhode Island. How you guys doing? Is that Dan Perot?
That's the guy. Uh-oh, that depends who's asking. You gonna serve him or something?
No, he owed me $2 from high school. He owed me $2.
Oh, with inflation, that's like $600.
You get it? No. We live on a dirt road, and 219, 210, 225, 193, 220, 215, 245, 255. I'm subjected to a lot of dirt, dust. And not only does it permeate the car in my lungs, but it's decreasing the values of our properties. Dan's very cooperative in terms of laying down, filling up some of the potholes, but what we need is either tar, macadam, or cement and gravel. What he's doing now is not his fault. He's just throwing dust all over the place. It's just everything all permeated and saturated with dust and dirt, and it affects my lungs and everything else. So I just wonder, what can we do about that? Acres of Pine, Yoho, all those other streets are paved, just that Pine Haven has been neglected.
So we've got a couple things we could talk about and ask. Did you want to say something?
So I've spoken to him many times, and the road, again, like you said, it's not a permanent base, so there's issues with dirt and dust and so forth. I don't know where that is in Kevin's.
That's what I was gonna
plans
ask,
for
yeah.
paving this year. Obviously, a road like that is more extensive than just the repaving that we normally do. So I have to talk to Kevin and find out what kind of cost we're talking about in order to make that a permanent road.
I'm interested in even the gravel idea. I know other communities use it. It is eligible for the the governor's program on reimbursement. So that's interesting. But understanding what Dan's saying, if that sub base needs to be changed, then you got to reclaim all that road and lay over it, and it could be millions of bucks. Just so you get a frame of reference for us, we got 1.2 million in the budget this year for roads. So I'm assuming something that big is going to need its own kind of separate funding if we were going to do that reclaim. But let's look at it. Let's look at the engineering. Let's get an update from Kevin. This is a good one. It affects everybody on the road. Understood. It's like old timey out there. I can imagine with all the, yeah, and I understood.
My dogs, even my dogs are affected by it. But Mr. Fiduci, I appreciate you guys' concern and Dan's. The gravel and cement will probably be more a cost saving, and we can subrogate them against the people that you talked about.
I'm sorry. It might be something to get us while we're building that budget, to get us there. And, it's worth taking a look at. I know we can get quotes on gravel pretty easy. We know the linear feet and slap something together and just start working on it. Are there other roads in the area that are also dirt? I know
I think maybe a part of
can't be much left, but
no, that's not much.
Yeah.
I think part of Whitehead might have some much into it.
interesting. All right. Appreciate you coming forward. That's a tough one.
It's open to $2 if you get that done.
Oh, look at that. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll get you an update. And I'm sure Dan has your information. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Let's head back over to Zoom. I see a couple hands over there, and please come on off mute and name and address for the record, please.
Stacy Nichols, 159 Lewis Farm Road. Just want to second what Brittany had brought up when I was reading the proposal for the Economic Development Committee. It seems like it's a change from what has regularly been asked for committees in town. I don't think anyone sitting in that room right now would be surprised that it's hard to get people to serve on committees. I am personally trying to pull together a small business association in town to just help promote a positive business environment. And I will say, there's challenges there. Other than being a small business owner, you would not look at my background and think that I would qualify to be on the Economic Development Committee, although I did apply a year ago, but I understand things have been sort of in transit. So I think we should be welcoming all participation for people who want to see any size business moving into Coventry, because that ties in with, while we're looking at waiving any sort of fees for developers coming in, what we actually need in town is more commercial development. We need businesses moving into town. The businesses are going to be paying taxes and not utilizing resources as residential developments will be. So this really should be a priority. If you drive down the main streets in town, you'll see a lot of for rent and empty building spaces, not empty lots, but empty already buildings there. And that should be something that we are looking to aggressively fill. We have a lot to offer in town, I think. But we need to have a group of people who are passionate about it. As far as if we wanted to keep the town manager in charge of the Economic Development Committee, which in some ways does make sense, I think there should be some goal setting on that business end of what is the responsibility of the assistant town manager and the town manager for bringing businesses into town. Is that something that we're looking at as a primary responsibility? I often feel that it's no one's job to actually try to bring businesses in. It's no one's job to have a positive relationship with businesses in town. It's no one's job to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And those are things that need to change if we want to have a vibrant business community. A final thought, as far as looking at the new Parks and Rec regulations for beach areas, my primary concern is that ending beach areas at 6 o'clock, you're talking about parents who might just be getting out of work. There's plenty of sunshine left in the day, or at least maybe expanding hours on weekends so that people can utilize areas. I mean, when you're looking at North Kingstown Beach, it closes at sunset. Plenty of opportunities for people. It might not be fully staffed after 6 o'clock, but people can still utilize the area. Another concern I have is with the boating ordinance. Will that include the area that we are now promoting for swimming on Johnson's Pond behind DPW, as well as people are telling people to go swimming at Zeke's Bridge? If we aren't classifying those areas appropriately and saying, no, we don't want swimming at these areas, it's going to be a mess. Also, just enforcement in general. Who's paying for that? How are we paying for that? Who's enforcing these rules? Are we enforcing it everywhere equally? It's great to have an ordinance, but if we're not actually paying for the police to be out there, making sure that people are being safe, I believe as the speaker already spoke about being on Tioga and having underage boaters, does it even matter that we pass the ordinance? So I think there needs to be a lot of thought into this. Again, last year, people were told to go behind DPW. People were still driving boats up to that area. So there needs to be a lot more communication about this before we just start passing things. But appreciate all you do.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll use this time. So as I was saying before, first reading tonight, let's incorporate feedback and see what we can do before it goes then to a second reading for public hearing. Okay.
Day is can be on the
Okay.
same day and the second, but a public hearing required.
Okay. So we got at least one more bite at this as far as what we hear tonight. And then we have another chance for feedback before we pass anything. So thank you for the feedback. All right. Anyone else on Zoom? I don't see anybody. Cody, do you? All righty. Yeah. Back in the room. We're all good in here. Right. That concludes public comment on docketed items. We will now open up a public hearing. We've got a few items for public hearing tonight. And I will entertain a motion to open that.
Make a motion to open public hearing.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We are open for a public hearing. First item up on the agenda, we've got stock transfer of Class B liquor license. Do you, anything we want to talk about particular on these? You want to just go through them, Dan, or? The Hotspot place, Old Theater Diner, 33 from 10. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All requirements are met on this one. Any questions from anybody up here? If not, we'll let the businesses do their work. That's a good question. Do we take all these in one public hearing, Mr. Solicitor?
Why did you give everybody an opportunity to speak who wants to speak on it?
Gotcha.
One of them.
All right. Anybody in here on the first item? Item A. And anyone on Zoom? All right. Shall we pass these as we go? All right. I'll entertain a motion. Yeah, I think so. Because then we can give everybody a chance on each one.
I'll make a motion to pass public hearing stock transfer of Class B liquor license, the Hotspot Place LLC, DBA Old Theater Diner, 33 Sandy Bottom Road, from Tammy Lavoy, 50% owner, to transfer her 50% to, I'm not going to try this, Nicholas Zar. Yep.
Terracostas.
Perfect. I think I'm going to butcher.
We have a motion from Councilman Hool. Second from Councilwoman Ionati. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. On to the next public hearing. This is auto salvage license renewals. This one, all requirements have been met on this license. This is a license renewal for Chattel Russell, DBA, RC Repair on Hammett Road in Coventry, and Capozzi's Auto Sales and Salvage, New London Turnpike.
I'll make a motion to take those two as a block.
Second.
With a second, I will open it up to any discussion here in chambers or on Zoom. Anybody hand up? All right, seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, ayes have it as a motion as a block. Now on the items.
I'll make a motion to approve the business license for 1 and 2.
Motion from Councilman Hool.
Second.
Second from Vice President Brown. All those, oh, sorry, any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. On to item C, secondhand license renewal. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. All requirements have been met on all licenses, if I'm reading that correct, Madam Clerk. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Dee's Walk-In Closet, Jimmy's Junk, Northern Thrift, and Anthony Village Antiques.
Should we take them as a block?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion on the vote for a block? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We are voting in a block.
I'll make a motion to approve that block.
Yep. Let's see. I'll do it during discussion. Okay, we have a motion. Anybody who would like to speak in here or on Zoom? All right, seeing none, I will take a second on that motion. Second from Vice President Brown. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We will now close the public hearing. Do we need a special act for that?
I'll
We
make a
just-
motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close. We have a motion. We have a second from Councilwoman Ionati. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We have closed. So next item up here, resolutions. We have 4 of them tonight. Do you want to introduce any of these, Mr. Manager?
Sure. So A is the design build contract for GZA and MSA Building and Bridge. This was in front of you about a month ago. We were asked to rework some of the language in the contract, guaranteeing that the project gets done, along with the money being paid, the $750,000 prior to 12/31, and with the remaining, if necessary, after January 1. But we are very confident that this project will get done. It's currently at the Army Corps of Engineers. We already have DEM approval. The next step is Army Corps approval. We hope to have that by mid-June, according to their representative, which gives MAS plenty of time to get this done before the deadline. So the solicitor and MAS went back and forth on some language that they both felt comfortable with. Basically, they're going to get paid for anything that they've outsourced, the design, the gates they've already ordered. So anything that they're out, they're going to get paid for if this does not come to fruition. But again, we are very confident this is going to get done. So just asking for the council to allow me to sign the contract and keep this project going.
Understood. Anybody questions for the town manager?
No, I did read a lot of this, and whoever added it, there was some verbiage in there about time is of the essence. There was some clawbacks. There was some good protections for the town. So whoever handled that on the back end, good job, Mr. Iglio. It was nice. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-15.
I'll second it.
Motion from Councilman Owell, second Councilwoman Ionati. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We are on to item B.
So this is a request from Attorney Cronin. I had a conversation with him regarding these fair share development fees, and we want to bring it to the council for discussion, and he can provide any further information the council may need.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I think you've already heard some of the thoughts of some folks up here. You know, I as I was saying earlier, we take this as they come to us. This is what you guys are looking for. We often talk about impact fees up here. We're learning new caveats and other items all the time. So if you want to begin on this, and you know, if there's any context you want to provide that you think is helpful as far as exclusions or you know, even the formulary itself, please go ahead.
Thank you. So yes, Attorney Tom Cronin, 1070 Main Street, Coventry, Rhode Island, for the applicant. So obviously this, I should be introducing this, but you already heard a few things on it. So this is unequivocally an improvement in a situation on Fairview Avenue for this town economically. So it's an easy start from there. This is a building that used to be Quidnick Baptist Church, was exempt from property taxation. We have taken the adaptive use statute, which I'll go into in a second, and we're turning this into a residential rental unit situation, which is completely taxable by the town. So we're adding a lot back to the town rolls, and not only just the lot, but also we improved it. So now those improvements are also taxable by the town. So this is from the get-go a win for the town. So I mentioned the adaptive reuse statute. So this is an area of the land use development law, which is very recent, 2025 passage. It is not addressed in our town ordinance for impact fees, but it lets a developer, allows or permits a developer to take a commercial or other building that was not formerly residential and convert it to residential use. So in this case, it's a church and a school and a cafeteria. That actual building is being converted to residential use. Mr. Nunes did a great job of introducing the project, but, 18 units, 5 of those affordable, only 3 two-bedrooms. Mr. Leonard of Synergy worked with the town planning office. They had a strong preference for smaller units in this building. So that's why so many one-bedrooms, and there's 3 studios, which we counted as one-bedrooms.
Councilman Hul.
Can you clarify where, why the 1-bedroom, like what was it's odd for, I sell real estate, so it's my district. I'm thinking like, what's the clientele who's going to rent those 1-bedrooms? It was an interesting choice. I'm just interested to see why the town would have pushed that, or what you heard from the town in regards to that.
So nothing against the young families in town, but the most significant impact to the town budget is the introduction of school children to the town of Coventry. It's healthy, and we all want the town to grow, but it has a strong impact, both in the impact fees, but also in the school budget when we introduce school children into the community. So if we can do development that doesn't invite young families, there's a bias for the town to have not so much of a financial impact. And that's why the town requests that from us.
I feel like that was violating a few fair housing laws there in that response. It's interesting to me. My concern is not so much the school children, it's who is the client renting that 1-bedroom unit is what I was trying to get to.
Sure. So
Who is the ideal client that you think is going to rent that 1-bedroom unit, and what is the rent price there? And the building looks great, by the way.
Yeah,
You did a great job with
I'd have to ask
reuse.
Mr. Leonard to come up, but the clientele is expected to be single people or couples without children, maybe past childbearing years kind of thing, where they're easing into retirement. That's the market, and single young people before they get married, things like that. There's a statewide market for this type of development. There's a demand for it. People want smaller units. They want less expensive units and compact. This particular unit's on a state highway, Route 33, has bus already available. Those are the kind of things that go into the marketing of who will live there. So as I was mentioning, the adaptive reuse statute is not considered in our ordinance regarding impact fees, which list the demands of infrastructure brought upon the town by development. And this council has seen me come up here and talk about new neighborhoods in the town requiring new town roads and new town sidewalks and plowing and trash pickup. And that's what's contemplated by our fair share assessment ordinance. This is kind of the opposite of that. Water and sewer already available on a bus line, on a state highway, will not have town trash pickup. There'll be no plowing required. This is a self-contained 1-lot development. So there's no direct impact to, say, DPW, and there's reduced impact to the other items listed in the impact fees, law enforcement, parks and recreation, human services, and the like. So really the units themselves are fairly small. They're in that same building. We're taking that building and not only adding it to the tax roll, but we're improving it, which will increase the value. Mr. Leonard has paid in excess of $30,000 in property taxes before the certificates of occupancy are issued. So that those are the amounts already paid, and those will only increase when the certificates of occupancy are issued. So, like I said, it's a good situation for the town. The actual fair share development ordinance does not square up with this type of development. This is the first adaptive reuse development in this town. So this is a new situation for the council. And as Mr. Nunes pointed out, the ordinance does allow the Coventry Town Council to make adjustments. It's in your purview to take this ordinance, read what impact we have on infrastructure, and make adjustments accordingly. And that's the application before you tonight. That's what I wrote in the letter, and that's what I bring before you tonight. We have a situation which benefits the town, but does not fit into the fair share development ordinance the way it's written currently. So I don't know if there's any further question. Yes.
Councilwoman Ionati?
Hi. So our Coventry Code 1066, it requires impact fees for new dwelling units.
That's right.
And it said, as long as we could waive them as long as there's no new changes to use. But we're going from a church to residential. That is a clear change of use. My problem is the fact that if we're waiving your impact fees, one, it's not good for the town, but two, it's also set in precedence that we could waive impact fees, but there is a change of use. It's a church to a residential. So under our ordinance, are we breaking our own ordinance, even if we were going to choose to do this? Because it says clearly it's not supposed to be a change of use on 1066. Does anyone know?
I'm not answering her question. I'm just getting in line.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Solicitor.
I mean, I can give the council some general guidance. Fair share development fees are supposed to understand and acknowledge the types of units that are being constructed. And if you notice, there's a breakdown of various fees per type of unit and the impact of a unit. When obviously your code is silent, the council is going to need to adjust this code to acknowledge adaptive use at some point, whether you do it on a one-off basis, as Mr. Cronin is asking you to do, or you actually do modify it. So starting point, he's asking for waiver of all the fees, but clearly your ordinance provides waiver of the affordable. So those five that's one area that your ordinance specifically speaks to. The second thing, if you look at the fees per dwelling unit, how it breaks it down, law enforcement, parks, human services, public works, public schools, you clearly could not technically, impose like public schools on this. You're supposed to be identifying the type of unit and applying the cost of that unit on your infrastructure. That's what you're supposed, and again, you do it on a specific basis in an ordinance. I'm not telling you that you're supposed to be doing on an ad hoc basis, as Mr. Cronin's suggesting that you do tonight. I'm saying that one of two things. One, the council should definitely amend the ordinance to add an adaptive use component, acknowledge it, address it, respond to it. How would be consistent with your study. Don't forget, you've done a study that supports this ordinance. And if that study doesn't reflect adaptive use, you got to find a way to modify that study. This goes back to the study that you did controls your ordinance, which allows you to impose fees by state law. This all flows from state law. State law says you do a study, the study generates the appropriate fees, and then the fees can be authorized by ordinance. That's the waterfall effect. And I know I'm a little verbose, I apologize, but there's no specific answer in your code to Mr. Cronin's request other than the affordable. That's number one. However, Mr. Cronin's point is well taken. Your code does not address his type of unit. And I don't believe that if you analyze his type of unit, I could be wrong, that you're going to be able to justify the fees that you have listed here under state law. State law would not justify those fees because you can't say six units that don't have any school children should pay $2,000 per unit. I'm making that example up. One more example about this. There was a situation in another town where they had examples of fees for single-family homes, which were higher in a subdivision than, I'll give you an example, than fees for a condominium development that had a private road, private trash pickup, private services. And a developer built a house-dominium complex, private road, freestanding structures, and the town tried to apply the residential unit price, let's just make it up, of 10,000 a unit. And that was reversed because you have a private road, you don't have school kids, it was 55 and older limited, you had your own trash pickup, you had your own plowing. So I'm trying to just give you an example of this adaptive use. I don't know where it fits in this schedule. Mr. Cronin's making a case to it, but I think the council needs to look at this more from the point of view of you need to ultimately address it in this code at some point. I know Mr. Cronin's looking for you to do it tonight. I get that.
Okay, so,
Help.
no, it does, because we have an acute issue before us tonight. We all have a holistic approach we're gonna need to take eventually to, rectify that. One of my questions to you is, so can you, while you're doing this, actually pick apart each fee? I didn't realize that part, where I can say, okay, well, police might apply to you, but you're picking up your own trash.
I struggle with the idea that the council, I think the ordinance authorize a list of exemptions and a list of discretions the council can apply. But you've established those by ordinance, and now like, for instance, let's use the affordables. You already said you can waive affordables. So he's come today to you and just looks at your ordinance, says, you already had a public hearing on the possibility of waiving affordables. I'm asking you to exercise your discretion. I got no problem with that. I struggle with the idea that the ordinance is silent as to his particular type of unit, and unless you can, and all of a sudden we just kind of adapt it tonight. I struggle with that, and I'm concerned with that. I just think that that's a difficult place for the council to be, because it could create a bad concept of ad hoc. waivers of
Exactly.
fees,
Gotcha.
As opposed to a uniform
Go
method.
in first.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think you described it nicely. There's an acute issue and then holistic treatment that'll be necessary. Vice President Brown.
Health has obviously
Right.
ultimate authority.
Right. And then I would say it goes back to Councilwoman Ionati. I mean, precedent before we actually address what's in the ordinance. Go ahead, sorry, Vice President Brown.
So I agree with what you just said. Our ordinance now looks at the affordables only. So that's where I'm at. I don't think I would go any further to reduce the fees, because that's how the ordinance stands today. But then we look at this and bring it into our code and bring it back to us to look at making a statute for adaptive use.
I think that is critical, because if you don't do that and your fees get challenged, you probably will have a potential problem, because you don't identify a connection between your study and the fees for adaptive use. You're just applying, again, a fee that's not really related. And so I think you have to go back to your code and address adaptive unit in some sort of uniform way. In other words, these fees are not picked out of the sky, ladies and gentlemen. They have to be tied to specific identifiable costs that the town can prove is associated with a unit. And just
Very helpful. Councilman Hu?
A couple of things here that I don't think anyone's talking about. I would respectfully maybe push back on some of that. I think any attorney could say that who's to say that a mom's not going to have a 5-year-old kid as a single mom in a 1-bedroom, right? There's nothing saying that a single mom, if that's all I do this on a daily basis. I see who's renting these units. That's why I asked in the beginning, who is your client that's renting the units? Most developers will know exactly who they're marketing to. So there's nothing that's saying that law enforcement fits, park and recs fix. There's nothing saying that any of those people in a 1-bedroom aren't going to use all of these things. My question is, and I think that, we're up here beating up these fees. I just want to give credit where it's due. I'm with Council President, Vice President Brown in regards to the affordables. I believe that that's where I'm going to land. But we have to give credit. This gentleman, this developer, I use that word loosely because developers, people think like they're doing these massive, like center of New England. They took a project that was not on our tax roll. They added units when everybody in this town says, don't clear land, not in my neighborhood, not here. They adapted a building that wasn't even on our tax roll. So I don't want to beat this guy up and be like, yeah, you know, you're doing all this and we're giving you the ship away. No, we're not. It doesn't set precedent because I'll tell the next person no, because the next person might be clearing land or knocking down trees. And I don't want to lay this all, it fits everyone across. I do think I am all for the affordables there. I don't want to give the whole full 100,000. This town has been playing catch up with our police. You know, we haven't hired police and offices in years. Our parks and recs are adding playgrounds. Developers coming into town have to, you know, if you bought a condo, anyone, it's, you know, it's your dues into the town. It's your reserves. You're buying in to some degree. I don't want to play catch up. And if we are not getting full taxes until after those units have a certificate of occupancy and people are occupying, well, now they're already here using town services and we're playing catch up. I would make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-41, but amend it to include only the LMI units.
I'll second it.
Is that something we are allowed to do on this one? On the spot, okay.
You can amend it and approve whatever you want. Again, that's not his ask.
Right, that's what I was wondering.
Whatever you want, and then deal with,
Yeah, I would respectfully request some findings of fact from the council as to the relationship of the fee to the impact of the development to the town. Not the common sense approach that Mr. Houle suggests, the actual ordinance, to give my client the most options available.
Right.
yeah, just for the council advocate, I just indicate that the code does not identify his particular type of unit. The code needs to be revised based upon the 25 state law to acknowledge and recognize his type of unit. The council has indicated they're going to do that, but it's not in there today. So they're not in a position to make a findings of fact because the adaptive unit is not in the code. There is no.
I can amend my motion to table this until we solve it. If Mr. Cronin and his client doesn't want to come, you know, to an agreement on the LMI units, we can just, I'll remove my motion to approve resolution 2026-41 based on the LMI units. And my motion will now read to table resolution 2026-41 until we can address the adaptive use.
And then what I'll do for the council and Mr. Cronin is we will work with the administration, the planning, and get an amendment to the ordinance for you to address adaptive units, and you'll all have to decide how you want to handle it at that point.
You know, I think it's unfortunate because we're gonna come back to the same argument.
So
But if you want further proof 3 weeks down the road, we can do it then.
Not proof.
Well, you're asking for what ordinance this is relaying to. You're asking for specifics, correct?
No, just a statement as Mr. Igliozzi suggests.
Understood.
May I have a moment, Mr. President?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, if I can, this is going to take at least a couple of months at least to get this done. To get the.
I understand that.
Yeah.
We have an ordinance that's there.
Did we do the quick math on what the,
It was 29,000.
29,000, yeah.
It was under 30,000.
It's like 29,270 is the five units.
No, I think it's fair. He did a good job. I don't want to, you know, he put the building back on the tax roll. I don't want to knock that. I don't want to label that into every project together, but we can't give our shirts away either.
Mr. Chairman, can we move this back on the agenda so I have a chance to speak to my clients more fully on the topic?
What's the pleasure of the council? If there's a motion to table now, we gotta take that first and deal with that.
Are you looking to just add it on a future agenda? Is that what you're
I
looking,
think
are you
you
looking
mean
for a date?
Tonight, I
Or you
believe.
looking for-
He's meaning,
So this building is done, fully inspected,
That's why I,
ready for a certificate of occupancy, and it is my client's choice to see.
I'll make a motion to remove my motion
Okay.
to,
So I would just like
table.
to flesh it out with them, get them to decide whether they hear the council for sure. They're sitting right here. Whether they'd like to proceed or wait until they get an opportunity for Mr. Igliozzi and Mr. Perlow to adopt the ordinance. So I'll
we've got
happily wait till
more
the
work
end.
to do and we'll take you before we get to the end.
Thank you.
Let's go over to resolution 2642.
So Joe Levesque is here. This is the will serve for the commercial aspect of Coventry Center. As we discussed before, the residential portion is on hold until West Warwick does a capacity study on their end. But they're confident they can handle this commercial portion of Coventry Center. So I'll let Joe take it from there.
So you have a resolution in front of you to issue a will serve letter for Coventry Center on the corner of Arnold and Linden Turnpike, Star Capital LLC. They've requested just the commercial flow be issued with this will serve letter. As the town manager stated, West Warwick is doing a capacity study of the New London Turnpike line within the West Warwick town limits. They have no concern with the flow from the commercial. It's only 7,000 gallons per day. So this would be helpful for the developer to move forward with the commercial phase of the project. It's 6 Arnold. So we're at 7,000 gallons per day, and once the capacity study is completed, and then he'll move forward with the issuance of a will serve letter for the residential portion.
All right, thank you very, sir. So just to clarify on this, we did one of these maybe a few meetings back. So this is us basically saying that there is capacity. We will allow it to be served for those sewers, but only for the commercial development.
Correct.
So as we've heard tonight, everybody is talking about commercial development. We know how important it is for the town. We also have other issues in other areas of the town for sewer. But if we could bifurcate all that and focus on just this, we're looking at adding 7,000-ish gallons there. I feel like, between my wife and daughters, I'm at that at my house. But me too. So that just wanted to kind of remind everybody of where this one is versus the other ones we might have done. Councilwoman Ionati.
So on the header, it references lot 23 and lot 24, but in the packet, it's tied to lot 23. I believe that needs to be changed. Yeah. So it's apartment 7, lot 23, and apartment 7, lot 24. The listed commercial flows, but in the packet, it's tied to lot 23. So the capacity, I'm not sure.
Second to the last line, Joe.
Yeah, I see it. I don't have the site plan in front of me to see actually what delineates the project and maybe drainage is associated with the other part. So I can't answer that question.
Table it.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with it.
Okay,
Well
yeah,
spotted. Thank you.
I believe that needs to be, especially in this.
Especially in,
Needs to be,
yeah.
need to be exact. I want exact wording on the lots. I think it's fair for taxpayers and everyone involved. So there's no misunderstanding.
I'll second that. Is there?
Not officially yet. Do you want to table that motion there?
I'm, yes,
for it.
I want to table, yes. Yes.
I'll second that.
We have yeah, you gotta,
Yeah, so the AP 7 lot 24 needs to come off.
Do we know that if it's?
I know for sure. The lot 24 is the residential portion, so it's just lot 23. That's the commercial portion.
Councilman Hool.
I want to stress how important that catch was. Mr. Manager, Mr. Igliozzi, engineering. You guys know the conversations we're having in the back, and there was potentially a will serve letter issued for a residential portion that we know is not gonna come to us. I just would like a little bit more oversight on the top end, and for that and that alone, if that motion isn't made, I'm gonna make a motion to table this.
You know, it is stated in multiple locations that is strictly commercial.
They'll get us. They'll get us. They're this is a chess game. They'll get us. This needs to be on point. This needs to be correct, and that residential needs to come out.
Yeah, the resolution itself just says lot 23.
I'm looking at the town of Coventry's letterhead that has our big emblem at the top of it.
Correct. No, I understand that. I'm saying the resolution itself is correct.
So the letter hasn't been signed, so can we revise the letter to take that off and then just issue that letter with that lot 23 off of it? Lot 24?
Yeah, the resolution is correct.
Is that feasible or no?
Sorry, I believe we can, since the resolution's okay, the letter we can amend through the clerk and just have that executed, but let's check with the solicitor just to make sure if that's appropriate.
I mean, it is. I know that the Councilman Who's raised a very good point. We have to be hyper.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think in these circumstances, if you make a motion to approve the resolution, provided the letter is corrected and
Okay.
and mirrors the resolution. Because your resolution is correct.
Let's go to Councilman Bet.
So for the record, this isn't center of New England. This is Arnold Road. Correct. Correct. With that being said, if everything else is correct in it, I would like that amended so that we have it correct and that there's no room for mistake on that lot 24.
So we're just kind of making sure we're on the same page on this one. Who?
That's a different person.
Right. So
It's the same one, and they come together. We still, this whole idea of us giving these people things before we get what we've asked for. At some point, the town's going to be like, hey, look, we're just not going to answer your phone until you give us what we want. Because we've been playing this game for how many years now, and then they put a resolution in front of us, and we just say, okay, Star Capital, here you go. You take our money. No, give me something.
So I agree with you, but this is for Arnold Road and New London.
And
Turnpike,
and it's
not-
all the same developer, though.
It is the same developer, but a separate project.
Understood, but if you lie to me once, you're going to lie to me twice.
I say we should table it right now. I'd like to table it
Correct.
because there's questions.
well, if the resolution's correct and we can confirm that, we can just make sure the letter is updated. So pleasure of the council, whoever wants to make a motion on that, those are kind of looking like the options. It looks like we have confirmed with the engineer and the solicitor, the resolution's okay. We just need to make a change to the letter.
I make a motion to deny this until we get somewhere. That's my motion. I'm
Table?
tired. Yeah, deny a table, doesn't matter to me.
Well, let's do discussion.
Going around.
We got to do he made the motion. We need a second and then we can discuss. If you have more you want to say. Motion to table from Councilman Hool. We need to act on this first. We need to do either a,
Point of order, Mr.
yes,
President.
please.
Councilwoman Ionati made a motion to table. It was not seconded thus far. Councilman Hu now made a motion to deny or table.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been seconded. We need to.
Right.
somebody
Before we
make a
get to the
motion, get a
discussion.
Second, whatever that is, I'm not trying.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't mean we pass the motion, just, all right, so you are seconding the table and then we can do discussion? Your pleasure.
So
Yeah, we can talk about it. We just need to address the motion. Well, yeah, one of you guys need to, oh, no, he already made it. We need a second.
I second him.
Okay, we have a second for Councilwoman Ionati. Now we can discuss. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
So my problem is that we've been with Richard's right, Councilman Hull's right. We've had problems with this developer. I understand it might just be what it is, but I think that we all need to come together and have a discussion about it for the sheer fact that I don't want to see anything down the road be wonky or be anything, because we've been lied to a lot on a lot of things, and which we've called it out, and we've been playing basketball. And I think at this moment it takes a minute because it's Arnold Road. He's right, it's Arnold Road in center of New England, but it's still the same developer. It's just the same thing. And I know the resolution's fine, but I think we just need a minute. I think it just needs to be discussed amongst all of us.
So if I may, Mr. President, if this is denied or tabled, we're going to have to go back to Mr. Eden and tell him why. Like, what more does he need in order to get this approved? I just don't want to put the town in a bad position saying that we're arbitrarily denying him a will serve letter because of X, Y, and Z. What are we going back to him tomorrow when he calls and wants to know the status of this? I just don't know what the town can tell him administratively.
Understand your point, Councilman Hull?
Stop me at any time if I'm saying things that I shouldn't be saying. I'm having
Stop.
My entire point of this is we've issued a will serve letter previously to this developer. We have agreed to give a will serve letter to this developer previously. Correct? We're all on the same page there.
Correct. Hopkins Hill, correct.
Said developer, in lieu of giving that, was going to do, we were going to give A, they were going to do B, correct? Are we all agreeing there? Can I say what B is? We gave the will serve letter, they were going to connect, stop me if, we gave the original will serve letter, they were going to connect the road in center of New England. That was the understanding. That was like literally, I think, my first or second executive session. I left here that day feeling excited because finally this council would get a win. Here we are, it's April, and they have another will serve letter in front of us, and we still don't have a road. So here we go, looking like the ones who got lied to again. So I know they're watching. Yes, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that we have something on this calendar in front of us again, and we're wasting our time having a discussion when we still don't have a road.
Vice President Brown.
I agree with Councilman Hull, with the exception that this is a separate project outside of center of New England. I agree with him
Understood.
100% about center of New England, but this is a separate project. The letter can be amended administratively. The resolution is complete with the correct lots. So I think we need to move it the way it is. And once this motion is taken care of, I would make a motion to approve it by amending the letter and approving the resolution. It's completely two separate projects, and that's where I am. But I do agree with you, Councilman Hull, about Center New England.
Yep. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I just want to clarify, are these the same units that were causing confusion between the bridge and the build that we had? Are they, when we kept saying they kept saying lot 23 last week? Are these the same unit numbers? I believe that they're not.
2, 3, and 4 last week.
2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, those were Center of New England lots. These are the Arnold Road lots, correct? Yep. Different ones, yep.
This is the parcel across from Cumberland Farms, that
Yeah.
corner lot. That's what this project does.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that was, I really see everybody's points on this one. Go ahead.
Imagine like me coming to ask you to borrow $10 and not paying you back, and then come asking you for another 10 and pretending that I don't owe you 10. It's kind of how I feel.
Now, on this one, I was kind of bifurcating these two issues, similar to Vice President Brown. The risk this puts us at, as far as, financially, we're just saying we're going to serve them. We're not waiving any fees or giving up anything. So this is just our commitment to serve that commercial portion. So,
Yeah, any reduction in fees or anything, he has to come to the council and ask for those separately.
And he
Yeah.
still has to formally submit an application.
okay.
This doesn't
gotcha.
supersede that.
This is step one in a longer process.
Okay. Back to parliamentary, where we stand here. We have a motion and a second. We did discussion. Any more discussion? All right. Let's see. We got 4 of us up here tonight. Take a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Hul.
It's on the table motion, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes to table.
Councilmember Ionati.
It's a separate project, correct? Yes. We're not including the bridge. We don't have any of that. Nothing else is going forward with the fees. We're not locking ourselves into any kind of agreements with him. This cannot be connected to, there's no negotiation between this and the other build, correct? I motion that we should be able to just change what do I have to do? What do I have to?
You gotta deny his
I-
motion. You gotta say no.
Okay, I deny your motion just for the sheer fact that it's a total separate project, but I get your point.
Okay, so that's a no. All right, Vice President Brown.
No.
President Verducci.
No.
So we have 1 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. Motion does not pass.
Okay. Now we are back on the resolution where we left off with this. We know the letter is incorrect. That needs to be changed. The resolution as it stands is okay and confirmed by both engineer and the solicitor.
So I will make a motion to approve resolution 2026-45, and that the letter that accompanied it from the developer had 42, I'm sorry, 2026-42. What did I say? 41? That we approve that, the resolution, but we also get an administrative change to the letter that we received to make that correct.
All right. We have a motion.
I second.
Motion in a second. Any more discussion on this? Councilman Hool.
While I understand all of your arguments, I think we appeared very weak here. And we gave these people who have lied to us something that they want. And this is like a big game of chess. So he just got us.
Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. All those in favor of the resolution?
Councilmember Hul.
Absolutely not.
Councilmember Ionati.
Yes.
Vice President Brown.
Yes.
President Verducci.
Yes.
For 3 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. Motion passes.
All right. Nice and easy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, stop this development. We just allowed him to go.
No, we didn't.
All right. Let's see. What's the next one here? Let's move on to 26-43. All right. So this one here goes back to a discussion we had. This is going to be in concert with a bill that will be introduced at the General Assembly. This is another part of our attempt at affordable housing change for the town. This is something that was going to be introduced. It didn't have an official bill number at this point, but it will be introduced by Senator Raptakis and Representative Serpa. I believe you've all read it, but big picture wise, this extends the maintenance guarantee period from current law, which is 1 year, and doubles it to 2 years. If anybody has any motions, discussions, or anything else.
I'll make a motion if you'll entertain it. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-43.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I think this is a good step in the right direction. I would have liked to see 3 years, but I think that we'll take what we can get at this point.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. See? That's good. All right. Let's see. Mr. Cronin, are you ready to come back up? We are going to go back up to, let's see, that is item B. Item B, resolution 26-41.
Thanks for locating me in the crowd, Mr. President.
It wasn't easy to see you, but
So I did have spoken with the client, and given the uncertainty of what future ordinance would look like, and we would like to move forward today with the vote as suggested by the council.
and that was to accept a LMI unit exemption?
That's correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks for showing up and hanging with us and listening to us and everything. We do appreciate it. We're all just trying to get through it up here and understand each other. So, this is very cooperative, and I appreciate the stuff you got saying. Go ahead, Solicitor.
Regardless, I appreciate that, Mr. Cronin, but the council should still be addressing this adaptive
Oh, absolutely.
unit
Yeah.
in the ordinance, it'd still be on your radar.
So can we take a moment to take a note on that? I know Mr. Town Manager said that would take some time. We got to get the study incorporated, and I'm assuming work with our planning group.
So I did the study a year and a half ago. So like the solicitor said, I just don't know how to handle the adaptive reuse part of that, how that translates into impact fee. So I'll discuss it with him and work on that. So
Okay, so
the study itself's done. It's
study's done.
pretty fresh. It's only a
Now
year
we
and a
got to
half old.
incorporate it.
We're going to incorporate adaptive reuse.
And then, we're going to want to, as a council, look at that, see how it affects things, test it for fairness for both the town and developers, what's applicable with the state law. So we can consider that officially on our radar and being worked on as of tonight. Is that acceptable? Okay. All right. So we are back on the resolution. If anybody has a motion, I will entertain it.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-41, approval of waiving of fair share development fees, and I'm going to amend that to include only the LMI units. And I want to thank the developer again. You did a good job. This is the stuff that we need to see in town. Unfortunately, the town just playing catch up on a lot of this stuff, so it's nothing personal. I'd invite you to come back and do this all over again. It's nice to have it back on the tax roll.
I'll second it, and I agree with everything Councilman Wu just said about this project. It's great for the town. It's great. Thank you.
All right, so we have we have a motion to pass as amended, but do we need an amendment first?
Would amend it first.
Yeah.
Just so we.
Make a motion to amend.
I'll make a motion to amend resolution 2026-41 to include only LMI units.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the amendment? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We have passed the amendment. We are back on the resolution as amended. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-41 as amended.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Any discussion on the resolution as amended?
So I think we need to change the line 28. Is that correct, solicitor? Where the amount is? Or is it just them amending it verbally enough?
I think it's going to include, we don't have an exact amount. It's going to include the LMI units for whatever that is.
29,270.
Whether it's 29 or 31,000, whatever that comes out to be, we're agreeing
Which one is
to
that?
waive the LMI unit.
29,270.
When we put this in, it was under the old impact fee.
The 58.
So I think that's correct.
Okay.
So, we'll see what the impact fee ordinance. Looks like, when it comes out for adaptive reuse, and maybe we can make a second pitch to the council, but
I wouldn't push it. I would just invite you to come give us your input, seeing as how you're in front of us so much, asking us for these. We should get your input on it.
this is how you get it.
And again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Good night.
All right. Did you actually record a vote on that? I didn't think so. Okay. So Dan had written out the line. We think we're good, Mr. Solicitor, with the motion as amended, the resolution as amended. Now we are voting on the resolution. All right. All those in favor of the all those in favor of the resolution as amended?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries as amended.
29270,
Yes.
that line will be changed.
For the 5 LMI units, in the amount.
All right.
29,270.
270.
Yeah.
270.
Okay, so just looking at what's left on the agenda, we've got ordinances. They don't need to officially be read. They are on here for a first reading, if that's correct.
Correct.
So-
They, they just get read, a brief explanation. You can't really discuss them.
Right.
Then explain them. Then a public hearing needs to be set and a second reading that can be on the same day.
Okay. Excuse my ignorance. Am I actually reading these out loud to people?
Description of each.
Okay.
We can talk.
Sure. Okay. All right, so we've got a few tonight. This is the first reading of ordinance 26-01. This is an amendment to the Town Coventry Code of Ordinances, Chapter 15, Article 2, Economic Development Commission. So as currently drafted before us, this ordinance would change a few different sections. As you can see, the preamble has been added at the beginning, just kind of giving us what the direction is here, the overall thrust of some of the changes. As we've heard here tonight, this will establish membership criteria, kind of management criteria. And if I'm reading this correct, is it the entire thing new, Mr. Solicitor, or just the italicized or the colored? Okay.
The reason why this particular ordinance has the appointment by the town manager is because your charter requires that.
Okay.
And we had this discussion internally and town manager, we wanted to make it the council,
I'm sure you did.
but because it just, the town manager is
We're coming for
required your charter, so you have to amend the charter. Just make it in compliance with your charter.
Right. All right, and I'm sure there's ways we could influence the town manager's decision, but
Yeah, so since it's, I guess, my responsibility, I want to present it to the council,
Yeah,
obviously.
right.
I want to get the members to apply, and then like other appointments, they're technically mine, but I'm going to defer that.
with
to
the advice
Please
of,
Stop always passing the buck and make a decision.
I make plenty.
no, just reading it literally, that's why I asked. Seems ridiculous. All right, so just going to go through here. So all members, as mentioned, shall be appointed by the town manager. We just got a clarification on that. At least 5 members shall reside in the town. Up to 4 may reside outside the town if they own a business in town. We have a section in there for business experience. At least 5 members shall be actively engaged in business ownership. It further clarifies 1 member shall be engaged in agriculture as a source of income and counts towards membership requirements. We do desire members to have experience in public relations, finance, real estate, industry, or related fields. However, it doesn't seem it's required. It's more of a statement of what may be desired. And again, this is the first reading of this tonight. Terms are also described in here for staggered 1, 2, and 3 years terms to ensure continuity. We could definitely use that. Vacancies, in the event of a vacancy, we also deal with these from time to time. As you may have noticed, town manager can appoint a replacement. And compensation of members is a 0. There will be no compensation. Election and term, there's more description there, as the commission may elect a vice chair at its discretion, and it shall elect a chair from its members for a term of 1 year. As far as meetings go, meetings shall be held at least every other month. Special meetings can be held when necessary. The ordinance further describes a quorum and possibilities of members who miss meetings being removed. All transactions will be part of the public record. Sections 15-20 describes the adoption of rules. 15-21 explains the advisory role of the commission, which is already in here. Powers and duties are further described in subsection 22. 23 subsection reports and recommendations. Section 3 is just the effective date. The signature you see on here is my introduction of this as the first reading only. It does not signify any passage or anything else. As you can see there, there are obviously more dates to come, and we have aggressively set the timeline to all be in 2026. Next up, ordinance 26-2. This one is for the amendment of the Code of Ordinances entitled Parks and Rec Facilities. Again, first reading of this. Section 1 describes some of the resolution that was already in place, I believe. And get to the amended part. As you get to line 63, it looks like we are, oh, there you are, Mr. Narkowitz. There is no weed allowed at Lake Tyoke. So that's good to know. Yeah. Including but not limited to, this also adds in vaping, chewing tobacco, or other similar products. Enforcement shall be interesting. On those, we have facility grounds are properly owned or operated by the town. We are adding some prohibitions and restrictions. I believe this is the real meat of the change here. Go through this quick. Briar Point Beach shall not be open to the public daily from 10 to, shall be open from 10 to 6 from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So the public access shall be permitted. No public access after 6 p.m. during this period. Pedestrians shall vacate the facility 15 minutes before dusk. Those two maybe add odds. All the times of the year, the facility shall be closed to the public between the hours of dusk and 7 a.m. Further, this next section, no person shall use, operate, or cause to be used or operated any wired or wireless speaker, radio, record player, tape. So we have some audio provisions in there described within the beach or park area, except when equipment is used exclusively with personal listening devices. So keep your AirPods in. Section 3 shall be unlawful for any person to ignite, maintain, or use any grill. So further codifying the exclusion of grilling out on the beach over there, specifically on the premises of Briar Point. Prohibition shall apply to all forms of cooking, heating, or recreational fire. So it's just adding in some more restrictions there. Again, first reading of this is tonight. That is about it for the changes. And again, as you can see, we're just signifying the first reading. Next up on this one, we have a ordinance 26-3. This is to look at the operation of motor vehicles in parks, rec areas, and on school grounds. If we skip down, major changes under subsection 231-8, where Class 1 electric bicycles shall be allowed on the Coventry portion of the Washington secondary bike path known as the Greenway. Class 2 and 3 electrical bicycles are prohibited. There is a general law citation there just for everybody who wants to be able to disseminate which applies to which type of vehicle. And lastly, we have first reading for operation near bathing areas. So if you are doing operations near bathing areas, you may not, no motorboat while being operated upon waters within the boundaries of the town shall be operated closer than a distance of 150 feet to a public bathing area on the shores of waters of the town. So this gets at a little bit of some of the stuff we heard tonight. And again, first reading only, more to come, including a public hearing on all 4 of these read tonight. All right. Thank you for your attention for that. And now you can pay me back with public comment on undocketed items. Anybody in chambers? Anybody? Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Jerry Narkowitz, 21 Beach Street, Coventry, Rhode Island. I sit on the Conservation Commission, and we have our meeting on the 16th. And there was some discussion in the last town council meeting where you discussed fees that are going to be assessed for weed control on the 4 water bodies that the town takes special concerns with: Upper Dam, Middle Dam, Lower Dam, Johnson's Pond, and Tioga. And I want to make sure when I sit on that Conservation Commission on the 16th, that I have an understanding of where that was going, as I'm not really sure after listening and paying attention. Can you answer that question for me tonight?
Believe we can clarify, because I think you may have said, did you think we were imposing fees or?
No.
Okay.
I think you were trying to come up with a figure
Okay,
that
yeah.
you were going to use for weed abatement on those 4 lakes. And the Conservation Commission was going to make the determination of, based upon the best knowledge that we can, on how much should go to each one of
Okay.
those water bodies. And as far as I know, there was no value established. That's what I don't know.
To the total for you
Yeah,
to
so-
distribute?
$400 million.
Slightly less. I think
Bill,
the
I
town
can-
manager can clarify.
I can send you the breakdown of what we discussed last meeting. So they were adding 40,000 to the budget. So the budget line will be 50,000. Councilman Pasqua had a breakdown based on what was given last year. That's not set in stone, but it was a starting point. So I'll send you those numbers and then
That'd be great.
conservation can talk about it.
That'd be great. There's a understanding of freshwater water bodies that, as a general rule, any water body that's greater than 6 feet doesn't establish great weed growth. So understanding the percentage of a lake that is 6 feet or less is a great tool to come to an assumption about what amount should be given. Like, for instance, if Lower Dam Pond has a very shallow area, but it's only a small area and then it drops to 25 feet deep, its weed would not be a big deal. I'm just giving that as an example. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I know a little bit more about Tioga because I live on it. So that will be how we will try to make the assessment as best we can. There's information on Upper Dam Pond. There's information on Tioga. There's information, I think, on Johnson's Pond. Don't know about Lower Dam. I don't know.
So that was my question.
Hold on one sec. We can't do a back and forth.
Yeah.
But I will say, not in a back and forth manner, but in a general statement, that additional information would be very useful for that on this. And I think we understood that a simple allocation based on percentages was lacking nuance.
You're right.
So absolutely be happy
That's
to.
that's the objective on the 16th.
Nope,
And I
gotcha.
just wanted to make sure that I was going down the proper road, and I didn't want to have you guys be given something and not be
No.
defensible. For me, I need defense. It's the only way I can really live with it. Okay?
Understood. And we
Thank
thank
you.
you for that. You good?
Guys, have a wonderful night.
Yeah, I just want to encourage that information from all of our boards. I think, like I didn't even, I'll say it didn't cross my mind that we should have even had you at the table. And I think we need to pay attention more to that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, it's just the way it should be.
Yeah, 100%.
So-
We're not the smartest ones up here. So thank you, honestly.
Welcome.
All right. Anyone else in chambers? All right. Open it up on Zoom. All right. Seeing none. Hey, we got it in. I see, I believe, well, at least 1 or 2 hands. Please unmute yourself. And, oh, you know what? As a reminder to everybody, the last time we did, some people on Zoom weren't included. So thank you for sticking around tonight. Appreciate it. Please unmute yourself and name and address for the record.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Samantha Sargent, 285 Logbridge Road. I just wanted to make a comment of a possible creation of an agricultural commission. This is kind of goes hand in hand with the comprehensive draft that's being done. I know it hasn't technically been heard by council yet, and it's still with the Planning Commission. But there are suggestions for agricultural overlays in the western end. And I think, I know the Economic Commission, they kind of handle a little bit of it, but there's a lot to know. And with, recent changes in state laws or federal laws pertaining to farming, the town has kind of had to update some of its ordinances accordingly with those. And so I think it would be beneficial to the town we have so much agricultural, activities that go on, to have a commission to represent and advocate for the agriculture in our town. And that's it. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Again, not having a back and forth discussion, but based on what we saw tonight with the ordinance, perhaps even a subcommittee of an EDC, seeing how there's an agricultural representation included in that. I mean, that's something for further discussion tonight. And, great idea with just all the, I know we have some farmers even in the room tonight. So I know, well, okay, maybe not, but it's very interesting. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Good suggestion. All right. Anyone else on there? I think I see one more hand. Mr. Nunes, close us out. Welcome. Name and address for the record.
Jason Nunes, Fourview Road.
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if Jerry Knockwitz is still there, but the last meeting when you guys did the allocations for weed abatement and increased the line item to 50,000, Lake Tioga was to receive 7,900. And I think Johnson's Pond was like 29,000. But I mean, it all depends on the amount of acreage that they're trying to treat. But to answer Jerry's question, it was 7,900 to Lake Tioga. I could have texted him that anyway.
What's the fun in that? Thank you for joining in tonight. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. I don't see any more hands, and I think that is it. We do need to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'll take a motion. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Madam Clerk, with the roll, please.
Councilmember Hul,
Yes.
Councilmember Ionati, Vice President Brown,
Yes.
President Verducci.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
We are going into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 4246 5A2 for litigation matters, discussion of prospective litigation to be initiated against and by the town. We stand adjourned for now in executive session. Right, we are back. I will entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
And come out of executive session.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Hul,
No. Yes, sorry.
Councilmember Ionati,
Yes.
Vice President Brown,
Yes.
President Verducci.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
All right, a motion to seal the minutes of executive session.
I'll make a motion to seal the minutes.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Hul,
Yes.
Councilmember Ionati, Vice President Brown.
Yes.
President Verducci.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
The council met in executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42465A2 for litigation matters, discussion of prospective litigation to be initiated against and by the town. No votes were taken. All right, that concludes this evening's agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion to adjourn, second. Discussion, hearing none. All those in favor?